What's up? My name is Dana, for those of you who don't know. I'm going to start off with a quick prayer. Amen. A lot of you are probably or have been dealing with shadow work, quote unquote, shadow work, yeah? Okay, if you don't know what that is, it is the embodiment, the integration of all of the so-called dark aspects of yourself throughout this lifetime, okay? All of those things that you reject about yourself, that you find unworthy, that you find unappealing, okay? So what happens is you reject that part of yourself, and it's in essence a piece of your soul or your core self is not with you anymore, which causes you to be not whole, okay? So what happens is you become haunted by these shadows throughout your lifetime, through other people, through situations, through circumstances, to where you become kind of triggered, okay? And those are hints that you need to heal that. If you don't know what your shadow aspects are, you can do some regression, some self-reflection, you can do meditation, you can pray and ask, but you can also look at your birth chart. Okay, a lot of people don't realize the significance of a birth chart. To me, a birth chart is a blueprint kind of your soul and like your soul's journey, okay? Because the way that the planets and the stars were placed in the sky and in the atmosphere affects the gravitational pull and push of the energies here, okay? So much like your physical body and such is shaped by your genetics, your DNA, those planetary and those star influences shape your etheric body, the body that most people can't see. So you have your physical body, you have your mental body, your emotional body, your etheric body, okay? That's your spirit. All right, and some people have it or is more expanded than others. So whenever you're born, these planets and these stars, they shaped that part of you, okay? And that's why it matters what time you're born and what place. People, that's what you think it is. That's what you think your only sign is, or the only aspect, the only influence you have. But that's not right. That's just your sun. You also have your moon and Venus, your Jupiter, your Neptune. All that stuff are affected by different constellations, where they were placed in space whenever you were born and the exact time you were born. So birth chart. So right here is my rising, which is my ascendant. It's better known as rising, and it's in Cancer. Okay, and then over here we have the descendant. That's my shadow aspect, and it's in Capricorn. Okay, so Capricorn aspects are the aspects that I really don't like about people. Okay, Capricorn aspects that's the traits, like the negative traits of Capricorn. They're not all negative, but there are negative and positive of each zodiac sign. So the negative traits of Capricorn I despise in other people. Now sometimes it can have to do with your upbringing, like maybe sometimes, a lot of times your father is that sign. Okay, so I want you to look at here, how this right here, the descendant, is not connected to anything. It's not aspect, it's anything, right? Neither is the IC, okay? The IC is your roots, your foundation. Now, if you look in this chart, those are the only two things that aren't aspected. Those are the only two things that don't have anything else connected to it. All right. So what that means is a huge part of my lifetime, and I have felt this, and even before I discovered this, but a huge part of my lifetime is being spent connecting my descendant, my shadow aspects to my roots. What does that mean? It means digging deep down and figuring out what parts of my life, my childhood, my past, my foundations, where I come from, who I come from and stuff, attributed to those shadow aspects of myself that I reject, that I hadn't accepted and healed inside myself, that they are parts of me. Okay, and when they start haunting me again, I don't reject them again, because then they just get bigger and they grow, and then you're never going to be whole. So when they start haunting me again, I figure out where they're coming from. Why? It's hard to do it, okay? Figure out where they're coming from. It takes a lot of meditation, a lot of self-reflection, a lot of forgiveness, and love. It takes a lot of love. Where there's love, that's light. And where there's light, there's no darkness. So if you can put love into the situation, self-love is very important. You can heal those shadow aspects of yourself and you will become more whole. Some people are born with extra light. We're not going to get too far into that, but some people they came to heal more than just themselves, okay? We volunteered to do it. If you know that you did, then you did. Usually if you did, then you know, okay? So those of us who did come with extra light, most of the time I've found that it is not only to heal our own shadows and to help those around us, but to heal generational trauma and generational shadows. Okay? Now this is a newly discovered thing that I have found spiritually that I've been shown, okay? So for instance, I'm right now in the past probably 6 months, like I'm on my third shadow that I'm healing. But the last two are not mine, okay? But they were passed down through my family line, generations, all right? So what did that have me do? It had me start researching and digging into my genealogy, because this has to do with not only spiritual stuff and soul stuff, because once you're shown and discover who you are in the spiritual and who you are, who your soul is, just a little bit of that, then you're going to start being shown who you are genetically, in the physical. Okay, what you're made of and why, certain things happen in your life and why these certain shadows are there. Okay, so I started digging, and I already knew this, but I am a direct descendant of Green DeWitt and Sarah Seeley. I already knew that. Shout out to all my family members if you're watching this. Okay, a direct descendant. If you don't know who that is, Green DeWitt was a friend of Stephen F. Austin. He was the second greatest impresario of Texas. Okay, he owned a shit ton of land in Texas. He brought 400 families to settle in Texas. They were the revolutionary, the Battle of Texas thing. They started that. And if you've ever seen the Come and Take It flag or heard of it, it's a flag that says Come and Take It with a cannon on it. My grandmother made that out of her wedding dress. I think that's really badass. Okay, so anyway, yeah, I'm a direct descendant. They're my great grandparents. And I was reading about their lineage because Spirit gave me a name, and it was my great 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 grandmother's name, and to start digging into that. So I did. Okay. So her father, his name was, this is a funny story, I'm going to share it with you, enjoy that stuff too. Anyway, so now I'm digging into that. They gave me little clues. I got little clues as to what, where the shadow came from and all that, because the light that some of us carry it is expansive, and we are blessed with extra energy, spiritual energy, powerful spiritual energy, in order to transmute and heal these shadows for not only ourselves and our families, but in effect, like the whole world. Okay, that's what light working is. That's what it is. Okay, while you're doing this, please remember to keep God at the center of everything. God is the reason that we're here. God is, I don't care what you call it. I don't care if you call it source. I don't care if you call it, I don't care what you call it, but it's our creator. Okay, the creator of all things, and he's the center of all of it. And gratefulness will grow your light. Gratefulness, being in gratitude and keeping your heart open to love will keep your energy high. It'll keep your vibration higher, and your power will be higher if you keep God in the center of everything. Another thing that is important is keeping your vibration high as far as like the way you're living, your lifestyle, your mindset, your moods, the people you're around. Energy is everything. God is energy, okay? God is love. And you want to keep your vibration up there with the vibration of love. Okay, that is very, very important whenever you're diving into and you're bravely facing shadows. Okay, the main thing to do is do not fear. Do not fear. It's even in the Bible 365 times. Every day of the year, do not fear. That includes listening to people saying that you're doing the wrong things or you're going to be punished or things like that. That's instilling fear into you. It is very important not to fear. You have God within you, and you are more powerful than anything around you. You are more powerful than your circumstances. Nothing deserves to take your power, and that includes your shadows. So if you do end up coming face to face with something dark, do not fear. Try to make it funny or do something that you can, anything that you can to bring up the vibration. Watch a funny video, have a conversation with yourself, okay, or laugh at yourself talking to yourself or something. But anything that you can do to raise your vibration, because whenever you do start facing shadow, the like knee-jerk reaction is to feel fear. And just, it's okay if you do for a little bit, just remember to get out of that mind state, okay? And then get into the vibration of love and realize that everything deserves to have light in it. Everything does begin with love. Everything was created by God, so every single thing has some little piece of love in it. Just remember that, okay? There is nothing that doesn't have any love in it, even hate. You have to have a little love to make hate, okay? So, something to keep in mind. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll talk to you soon. I love you guys. Bye. Okay, so her father, his name was, this is a funny story, I'm going to share it with you, that his name was Christopher Columbus DeWitt, okay? And what's crazy is I kept hearing CC, and when I would write, Spirit would give me stuff to write, and I would hear CC. I'm like, what is CC? Is CC like CC on an email? No, now I know that that's one of my ancestors in spirit. Okay, so they called him CC DeWitt. They also called him Rascal. This is just a funny story I want to share with you guys. So they called him Rascal, and he was very like adventurous. His father and mother were the revolutionary, like adventurous people that people all around the U.S. like knew them and came to them for things. So he wanted to travel and be adventurous too. So he did. He traveled all over the U.S. And what's crazy is it's on horseback, right? That he traveled, and he liked to really travel to Washington and Oregon. He did that quite a lot. Well, he also liked to dance. So here's a story. He was an excellent dancer. He loved to attend the social gatherings and dance the old-fashioned square dances of the times. Once he attended a dance where the mayor of the little town was also a guest. So it says, in the course of this evening, he asked the mayor to dance, and the mayor said he couldn't dance, that he never learned. Mr. DeWitt brought out his 6-gun and insisted that when he asked someone to dance, he meant for him to dance. The mayor danced. The mayor then had Mr. DeWitt arrested. And Mr. DeWitt had to wire his father for $500 for bond. Son, what'd you do this time? I made the mayor dance. Like, what? But it says after that, he and the mayor were good friends. But I thought that was a funny story and I had to tell it. Okay, so you never know what you're gonna find. There is buried gold and buried treasure in uncovering your roots, okay? Because I like really connected with him because like that is just so funny to me that he would do that. He got arrested for doing that. That is definitely, I feel like I would do that. I really connected with him.